Title: Serve me in English and I'll pay you $1,000, laughed the millionaire, until she spoke 5 languages. The marble floor of the luxury restaurant gleamed like a mirror. Chandeliers glowed softly overhead, casting golden light on the faces of the wealthy diners who filled the room with murmurs of expensive laughter and the clinking of crystal glasses. At the far corner table sat Mr. Andrew Miller, a man whose name was whispered in business circles with both admiration and envy. He was a self-made millionaire, confident, sharp, and a little too aware of his wealth. His smile was the kind that came with a hint of arrogance, the kind that said I've earned the right to look down on others. That evening, he leaned back in his chair, scanning the restaurant, waiting for his order. His friends surrounded him, investors, real estate tycoons, and lawyers. The talk was all about profits, deals, and the next big thing. Then she approached, a young waitress named Clara, barely 20, her uniform slightly too big, her hair tied back neatly, and her smile polite but distant. She carried a tray of wine glasses with careful grace. Andrew noticed her accent when she said softly, "Good evening, sir. May I take your order?" He grinned. "Where are you from?" he asked, loud enough for the entire table to hear. "Romania, sir," she replied. He chuckled, exchanging amused looks with his friends. "Ah, Romania. So tell me, Clara," he leaned forward, voice dripping with mock charm. "If you can serve me in perfect English, I'll give you $1,000. His friends burst into laughter. To them, it was a harmless joke, a rich man's entertainment for the night. But Clara didn't laugh. Her eyes flickered briefly, as if deciding whether to respond. Then, with a calm smile, she said in flawless English, her tone clear and confident. "Would you like me to serve you in British English, American English, or perhaps Australian?" The table went silent. Andrew's smirk faded for a moment, replaced by surprise. But before he could reply, she continued, effortlessly switching accents. "Good evening, sir. Would you care for a glass of wine?" she said in a crisp London accent. Then, with a perfect American twang, "Can I get you started with something to drink?" And finally, in a warm, lilting Australian tone, "Fancy a glass of red, mate?" The men around the table burst out laughing again, but this time, it wasn't mocking laughter. It was disbelief. Andrew raised his eyebrows, impressed despite himself. "You rehearsed that, didn't you?" But Clara wasn't finished. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke again, this time in French. "Suhitas-vous du vin rouge au blanc, monsieur?" Then Spanish. "Prefiere vino tinto o blanco, señor?" And finally, Italian. "Vuole del vino rosso o bianco, signore?" The room had gone silent again. Even the other waiters had paused to listen. Clara smiled softly and said, "I speak 5 languages, sir. English, French, Spanish, Italian, and Romanian. Which one would you prefer I serve you in?" For a moment, Andrew was speechless. His face, usually unreadable, softened, just slightly. Then he laughed, genuinely this time, not mockingly. "Well," he said, pulling out his wallet, "I guess you've earned this." He placed a crisp $1,000 bill on the table. "And a bit more for the show." But Clara shook her head. "Thank you, sir, but I can't accept that," she said. "Why not?" he asked, frowning. She smiled politely. "Because respect shouldn't be something you buy, sir. It should be something you give." That line, simple, calm, and unshaken, landed heavier than any lecture could. Around the table, his friends exchanged awkward glances. Andrew sat back, studying her. There was no arrogance in her eyes, no bitterness either. Just quiet dignity. He didn't insist. Instead, he asked softly, "What do you do besides this?" "I'm studying linguistics," she said. "Working 2 jobs to pay for my degree." Something in her answer, her composure, her confidence, stirred something long buried in him. He had once been young and hungry too, working tables before his first big break. He had forgotten what that felt like. The night went on, but the laughter around the table didn't sound quite the same. Andrew kept glancing at Clara as she moved gracefully from one table to another, her posture proud, her smile unbroken. When the bill came, he paid it quietly, leaving the exact amount, no tip, no grand gesture. But when he stood to leave, he placed a small envelope on the table. Inside was a note. "For your tuition, no strings attached. You reminded me of who I was, before I forgot." And tucked behind the note, a check for $50,000. When Clara found it later, her hands trembled. But instead of excitement, she felt tears prick her eyes. Because she knew, for once, it wasn't charity. It was respect finally given, not bought. Outside, the city lights flickered like stars over glass towers. Somewhere in that golden glow, a millionaire walked alone, thinking not about profits or deals, but about a Romanian girl who spoke 5 languages, and taught him the one he'd almost forgotten, the language of humanity.